Hello, guys, and welcome back to Between the Ropes TV. Now, I am excited for this one. Actually, I say I'm excited. It's a double-edged sword because there's a lot of boxing. Sky have got an absolute monster of a card, which is sort of headlined by Natasha Jonas, but also Ricky Hatton. Now, for those that don't know, Ricky Hatton is the reason I got into boxing back, 16, 17 years ago. I am very excited to see him in an exhibition with Marco Antonio Barrera. However, bit gutted, I can't go because it's my stag do. But I had tickets to the original July date, which obviously, as we all know, got cancelled. So cheers for that, Huey Fury. It's a double-edged sword for me. Yes, how excited are you for this card before we get into it?
100% excited because these are two former, proper fighters. Ricky Hatton. We know his story, we know his career. Obviously, I was very young when he was active, so didn't really get to see much of him. But you do your research and all that kind of stuff. And Ricky Hatton is massive, especially this is going to be massive in Manchester. Everyone's going to come out. He's had the big nights. He's been in there with the best. He's arguably one of the best fighters that the UK has produced.
Ever.
So it's really exciting to see him come out of retirement. You saw the way he got himself into shape as well. Like it's amazing. Honestly, big respect to him and what he's done for the game. And obviously, he's setting an example really on these other guys. He's actually fighting guys, where it's a bit more of a fair fight. Both former fighters, both similar ages, been there, done it. So I'm looking forward to it.
No, exactly. I mean, for me, I had a bit of a rant about Mayweather and Deji. Few critics online, as expected, which isn't shocking in any way, shape, or form. But for me, this is what an exhibition should be. Two professionals that they only stop boxing because nobody beats Father Time, but it keeps them fit, it keeps them healthy, it entertains the fans, it has that nostalgia feel, and they make a few quid in the process, but everyone's entertained, everyone's a winner. And as they're pros, they're not going to be going for the knockout, are they? It is what it is. It's an exhibition. So you touch wood, no one gets hurt. So I'm excited for this. Just before we actually go into the Sky card, though, Yas, bit of talk emerged. Ricky Hatton was obviously on Sky Sports News a lot yesterday, and he was talking about the potential for an exhibition with Floyd Mayweather if Floyd Mayweather can be bothered to stop fighting lesser famous YouTube brothers and cousins and whoever else. Now, I'm not ashamed to admit it. When he fought Floyd Mayweather for real back in 2007, I cried when he lost. Don't mind admitting it. I was just a young boy. Joe Cortez and Floyd Mayweather broke my heart, ruined Christmas. But I like the idea of an exhibition. What do you think about it?
I ain't got no problem with that because they're two fighters. They've been there. No one, as long as you can guarantee no one's gonna get hurt. I feel as though there's not a problem with it. If it's okay for YouTubers to kind of spring out of nowhere and get into fights with these big names like Mayweather, etc., then why not a legend? Why not a former legend who's been there, done it? Why shouldn't he be entitled to a payday? As long as obviously it's exciting. That is what will catch the boxing audience, in my opinion. All this YouTube stuff, yeah, it does, but it doesn't. Like we said the other day, it doesn't maintain the audience. This one is going to get the hardcore boxing fans intrigued again. Yeah, they're old, they're past it, but it's exciting. It's two former fighters. There's so much money to be made, so why not? I ain't really got a problem with it, to be honest.
No, but this is the thing as well for me. They come out, it gives them a reason to get fit. For the likes of a Ricky Hatton, who's made no secret about his struggles with weight, drugs, and alcohol. If it keeps him in the gym and gives him a reason to be healthy, he can earn a few quid along the way. Power to him. And I also think, yes, that it's not going to be the Ricky Hatton of sort of 2006, 2007, attacking the body viciously, being relentless. But what I do think is new eyes on the product. They might see a little glimpse of something they like about Ricky Hatton or Marco Antonio Barrera, who's an equal legend in his own right, if not more than. They might then go back and archive and watch some of their old fights. They might fall in love with boxing, And then before you know it, they're just boxing fans. So this is the sort of thing for me that actually helps boxing as an exhibition bout, not this YouTuber crap. But enough of that. We're excited for Ricky Hatton. Let's get into the Sky card because they've got their own stat card, in fairness to them, top to bottom. We'll start off with the main event. Natasha Jonas in another unification bout, third world title fight of the year against Marie-Eve Dicaire. I hope I've pronounced that right. Now, yeah. Jonas is obviously, she's Miss GB. As I just said, you know, she's won a world title, unified straight away. Now she's trying to do it again. But as we all know, she lost back in 2018 via stoppage at super featherweight. Yes, am I being a bit of a worrier by thinking if she keeps campaigning at light middleweight, I worry about her getting hurt?
I mean, I see where you're coming from with that point, because at the end of the day, like, your body can't just be like, you can't be taking damage fight after fight, especially, you know, the training in itself is enough to making the weight and all that kind of stuff. That in itself is taxing on the body. So when you're taking punishment, etc., yeah, it does cause for concern. But I actually had the pleasure to go and watch her when she fought in Liverpool in September, and I'm not worried. Like, from watching that fight, I'm not really too worried about her. I feel like she's still got a few good fights left in her. She was good. She brings out a crowd. When she fought, a lot of people came out. She's popular. You know that Manchester and Liverpool's not far, so you know she's gonna bring out fans, and she's fighting again for a world title. So I don't really see no problem in it, to be honest. But yeah, I do see where you're coming from with that point. It can get a bit dangerous, or it can get a bit taxing on the fighter's body and health. But as long as, you know, she can try and not take too much punishment in this fight, and, you know, just put in a dominant performance, and the crowd will get behind her like they always do, I see her coming out quite victorious, to be honest.
No, definitely. I mean, on Dicaire, you know, she's 18-1, but with only the one stoppage win herself. And, you know, she has talked about, for Natasha Jonas, you know, she needs to get real. You know, she's too small to care. She's obviously going to be the bigger woman naturally in the ring, but she's not got the power to cause her any problems for me. And, you know, she talked about Jonas's age, but she's 36 herself. So, you know, neither of them are exactly spring chickens. But the fact that her only loss was a points loss to Clarissa Shields, obviously we all know about Shields' level. She can clearly box herself, Dicaire. Is there even a vague chance? I know you just said you see Jonas coming out on top, but can you see a scenario where Dicaire either gets a win via stoppage or points?
I don't see a stoppage win happening, no. Purely because of what you said. Obviously, I'm just going off that merit where she only has one stoppage in 18 fights. Clearly shows that she ain't the biggest of punchers. Mm-hmm. And you know, Natasha's she's experienced, she's seasoned, she's been in there, she's had the big fights, under pressure. She's a world champion for a reason. She'll obviously know how to navigate herself to a win, and she'll come up obviously with a solid game plan to get a win, to be honest. I don't see a case for that happening, but at the end of the day, it is boxing.
No, 100%. I mean, next up on the card, we've got Dalton Smith versus Benjamin Casey. Casey Benjamin even, sorry. Lost my head there for a second. Dalton Smith, big talent. You know, we saw him headline the Next Gen card in August in Sheffield with that destructive win over Samo Mason. He's 12-0 now with the 10 stoppages, so pretty heavy-handed as well. Obviously, this is his mandatory for his British. He's coming over from Dazonias because Boxer won the purse bid. But he's made no secret at all that obviously he's in his last fight of his deal with Matchroom, and next he'll be going to the highest bidder. Does that give him pressure to sort of put on a show and put on a big performance to get those checkbooks out?
100%. I feel like he's gonna come in this with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's gonna want to come in and prove a point. Like he said, he's on his last deal, so obviously it's a prize fight. And at the end of the day, he's gonna want to secure the biggest paydays, the biggest promotion and push, etc. And we know, obviously, fighting on the Sky Sports machine, we know how big their platform is. If you can get like a good, solid knockout on there, a highlight reel knockout, it opens massive opportunities for him. And we know Sky Sports, they're really getting behind fighters, and they're really on it to, you know, push fighters and give them the biggest opportunities. We've seen, obviously, of recent times, it's not been looking too good for Matchroom and Eddie Hearn, obviously, because they're dipping their fingers into other pies as well. Whereas Sky are really focused on building the UK fighters, so he may look to want to put on a really good performance to convince Ben Shalom or whoever it is to put in a massive contract there for him to fight on their platform. So I feel like he's going to come in and he's going to want to put in a really dominant points win or get a highlight reel knockout win, and I see him getting a stoppage win.
No, definitely. I mean, I'll be honest, I totally what you're saying. I can't see how Matchroom can lose another fighter, particularly one like Dalton Smith where it's on the up. The Liam Smith one, while I'd have done everything I could to keep him, at the same time he is at the back end of his career. Depending on what he's been offered, I would understand it. But for me, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom at all costs need to keep Dalton Smith because I really see him as a big piece of the puzzle of the future of British boxing. On to Casey Benjamin, yes. Now, he's 16 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. That loss came in the Boxer tournament, so he's done it the hard way. He's been versatile. He's come up a tough way, hasn't he? Through the smaller shows, and he's got there. Dalton Smith has the profile, has the build behind him, has the machine. Do you think that's going to motivate Benjamin? I know, we're both predicting, I am as well, a Dalton Smith win. But I don't think he's going to have it all his own way. I really think Benjamin's going to have the absolute bits between his teeth.
100%. When you're fighting on a platform like this, the only thing, especially if you're coming in as the underdog, you're going to want to steal the show. You're going to want to make it. You're going to want to make the headlines because this Sky Sports is published everywhere. So your name will get around quite quick. We know the Sky Sports machine has been proven time and time again with the likes of Anthony Joshua, Amir Khan, etc. in the past. So obviously, what one win could do to, you start featuring on the shows more. So of course he's going to want to come in, and I feel he is going to make it tough. I feel like he's the underdog, so he ain't really got, too much to lose in this fight. He's going to come in and really try and put it on him. He's come up the hard way. So this is just another step up for him to get to where he wants to get to. So I feel like he's going to come in and really fight out of his skin.
No, I agree. And I think, to be honest, that only means the fans win because we get a good fight. But I do think Dalton Smith's quality will shine through, as you said, yes. Moving down the card a little bit, we've got Tyler Denny defending his English middleweight title against Brad Raya. Now, we've seen quite a bit of Brad Raya on the Sky platform in the last sort of 12 months or so. He's undefeated, 14-0 with the 5 stoppage wins. Denny, however, done it the hard way, 14 wins, 2 losses, 3 draws. What's your prediction for this, Yas? And, there's a lot of talk about Raya being a bit of a puncher, or certainly more of a puncher than his record suggests. How do you see this one playing out?
I mean, it's quite a tough one for me. I feel like it's not going to be. I feel like it'll be a good fight where they'll probably trade a bit, but I don't see anyone getting stopped or knocked. I feel like it's going to be quite a close points win, and I'm probably leaning towards Raya for that.
I'm exactly the same as you. I think it's going to be a bit of a tactical bout, and I think both are going to want it, but I think it could turn into one of those fights where neither one wants to lose as much as they want to win, if that makes sense, whether it's a bit of a chess match, but we will see. I like Brad Raya and I like what we've seen of him, so I'm excited for that. Then we've got, it's just stacked this card. So we've got Fraser Clark. Obviously, we know the criticism that he's faced around previous opponents recently, but he is 3-0, 3 stoppages. He's beaten Bracamonte, who most British fans will know for being a bit of a durable fight. We had a war with Dave Allen a few years ago. This time, Big Fraser's taking on Kamil Sokolowski, who again, although he's got a very journeyman record, he caused Arto Wallin all sorts of problems last year. I believe it was the end of last year. Could have been the start of this year anyway. Caused Wallin a load of problems, yes. Can he cause Fraser Clark problems, or are we going to see another absolute demolition?
It's a good question, that, because obviously we know Wallin is no joke, and he's clearly quite avoided in the heavyweight division. And to go and give someone like that, 6'5", southpaw, good boxer, good amateur record, etc., problems, you clearly shows you've got something about you. But we know Fraser Clark has been in the amateur systems for ages and ages. He's been through the system. He's spent hundreds and hundreds of rounds sparring with the likes of Anthony Joshua, Joe Joyce, and other heavyweights. I believe right now he's sparring Derek Chisora for the Fury fight. So he's always around, the elite kind of guy. So I feel as though he'll pass through this test. I feel it won't be like the previous fights where he comes in and knocks someone over. May go a couple rounds, but I back him to get a stoppage win, to be honest, force a stoppage or something like that.
No, I'm the same. And to be fair, we've talked a little bit before about Fraser Clark being the wrong side of 30 now. He needs to get moving. For me, this is one of those fights that could give us a little bit of a steer on how far he's actually going to be able to go in the pro ranks. Because if he struggles with Sokolowski, not that there's any shame in it at all, but at the same time, Sky are backing Fraser Clark to, march to the top. So it needs to be another statement win. There's certainly no room for any slip-ups. Next up, Yas, we've got lightweight boxer tournament series. Dylan Kima in with Jordan Ellison. Now, Ellison, again, bit of a journeyman record, but he has boxed some big names, so he's experienced. He knows what he's doing. Are you backing Chima to extend his 7-0 undefeated streak here, or are we going to see a shock? So I'm not going to lie. For me, this is one of those fights on the card that has the potential to be a shock.
I agree. It is, because obviously he's coming up against a guy who's experienced. He's like been in there. He's fought all the hard rounds. But I do back him to. I feel like at first he's going to come out and he's going to realize probably after round one, oh, this is not going to be an easy fight. I'm just not going to go my way. Then he'll probably just box to a decision win, which will obviously be the smart thing to do. Obviously, get them rounds under your belt as you develop as a fighter. Don't take too many risks. You're in you're in a decent position, and just move on from there. I feel like he'll probably get a points win, but he'll realize as he steps up, this is a lot. It's different. It's a lot harder than how it looks.
No, I agree with you, mate. 100%. Last up, we've got Vidal Riley of, again, social media fame. But the difference is he's 6-0 as a pro. And also, in fairness to him, massive respect, because when he's been asked about likes of a Jake Paul or whoever else, he's actually distanced himself from it. And while, I think Ben Shalom actually gave him a load of credit back end of last week in an interview, saying like he could go over, fight a Jake Paul, and it'd be like 10 times his record payday so far. But he's actively saying, no, I'm not. I actually want to be a boxer. I want to win championships. I'm steering clear of him. So massive respect to him for that. I just want a quick note and say, but he's taking on Ross McGuigan this weekend now. I'm not going to lie. I think it's fairly cut and dry. I think Vidal gets a comfortable win. What do you think?
I would agree. I mean, he got a knockout win in the first round. I think the last time he was out. So obviously he's on a bit of momentum. Yes, he does quite a bit outside of boxing, but I feel like he's a professional. He trains. He's always in shape. He looks after himself. He's got quite a good relationship as well with quite a close relationship with his team as well. I back him to get a stoppage or a knockout win, quite a dominant one. Fair play to him as well, obviously, because it's very easy to get sucked in when you're at that beginning stage of your career and you haven't really made that much money. It's very easy to get sucked into the Jake Paul kind of saga and all that kind of stuff, especially when you've got quite a big following. So fair play to him. I think he knows though. He wants, just as much as the money is good, but he wants respect as well. And he needs to go and try and win some stuff, try and build a little career that he can be proud of rather than just cashing in straight away on a big fight like that. It doesn't do nothing for his development, the fight against Jake Paul. So fair play to him.
No, 100%, mate. I agree. I'm buzzing for this card. I'm buzzing for this whole weekend's worth of boxing. So, guys, let us know in the comment section what you think. And just to finish, Yas, quickly, which fight are you most excited about on this card? And I'll be honest, I'm hovering over the mute button, and if you give the wrong answer, I'm muting you and deleting you. That's it. It's non-negotiable. Which fight is it?
It's got to be the Natasha Jonas fight for me. I'm excited for that one.
Gone, mate. Gone. Not having it.
What about you? What are you looking for?
Ricky Hatton, mate. The Hitman's back. Come on, Yas. Don't roll your eyes at me. As you said, you were just a young pup when the Hitman was about. He got me into boxing, mate. I cannot, honestly, when it got announced and those tickets went on sale in July, it was, the original date was actually around my missus's birthday. And she was on about it. I was like, no, we're going to, I'll take you out, but we're going to watch Ricky Hatton that night. and she accepted it. And I think low-key, she was quite buzzing when it got postponed. Again, cheers, Huey Fury. I'm gutted about it, but as I said, the stag do has been planned for months. But go on then, try and sell me on Natasha Jonas being the highlight of the night wrongly.
Well, so Natasha Jonas, unification fight. You know, she's won quite a lot of fights. She's had a good career so far. She's fighting again in, you know, Manchester now. We know the fight fans obviously are going to come out for her, and I back her. When she comes out, the energy that I got from when I went to watch her, I just feel as though that's really going to lift her and make the hairs on her back stand up and bring out a really good dominant performance from her. So I look forward to seeing that.
No, 100%. I mean, joking aside, I cannot wait for Ricky Hatton, but also Natasha Jonas. This is incredible. And it's so good to see her actually get the opportunities that she's always had opportunities, but let's be fair, you know, Matchroom wanted Terry Harper to win. I'd love to see that rematch, and we could now see it in the undisputed fight at light middleweight, touch wood. Katie Taylor the same. So it's good to see her getting pushed as the A side consistently as well. So hats off to Sky and Ben Shalom for giving her those opportunities. We'll wrap it up there, guys. It's been a busy week. I'm sure you're sick of seeing our faces now. We have got Ray back next week, thankfully. He's back from sunning himself. So, yeah, join us. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Plenty more to come.